Shalom. Kol halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000 men who are chosen out of heaven to be the new government, the judges of the entire earth upon the kingdom of heaven being set up, which is promised in the Bible by the Lord, Yahushai, who the world fraudulently and falsely calls Jesus Christ. All right, that 144,000, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. No more U.S. government, Christians. No more Japanese government, Christians. No more German, Russian, Turkish, Israeli, Jordanian, and so on and so forth. All right, those judges, the new government on earth as it is in heaven. All right, the judges who are going to enforce the laws of heaven upon all mankind and be righteous, true judges. That's what we're talking about. All right, and to our scattered people, the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations, the one that the angels are going to gather up to protect, all right, when the day of destruction comes, and for the Ra'akwaf, which are the sisters that are listening and learning. To you, I say shalom. I'm going to come at you with this quick lesson. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with truth. All right, and a brother shared with me yesterday a definition from 1828 of American from the Webster's 1828 dictionary, which I actually happen to have a copy of, called Halal Yahweh Bashim Awashai. All right, I have the abridged version, and the version that he has is actually over at the main house. All right, decided to take it over there so that we can use it in lessons, etc., whatever. All right, but let me grab a scripture. So this is going to be a short lesson. I'm just going to show forth some evidences to prove how much that the self-proclaimed white man is a liar, that he whitewashed history. He is a fraud. All right. He's not the true people of the Lord. However, he is. They truly are, the U-ish people, that because those were Edomite converts, even going all the way back to the ancient time after the Hasmonean dynasty. All right, when the other Edomites set up Herod, the Herodian family, to be rulers over Israel, over the southern kingdom, over Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and those were your first sect of J-ish people, converts, not the actual people. So are they Hebrews? They are. They're J-ish Hebrews. They truly are. When they say that, they are telling the truth. All right. What they are not are the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks about. That is what they are not. They're from Esau, Jacob's brother. All right. His red, pale-fleshed, who was cursed. All right. Like this. They got that red all over. Okay. That's what he is. Not the copper colored bronze skin, melanated chocolate, ruddy, which is a brownish maroon color, not pale red. They Esau Edom is just a liar, man. But this is Luke 12:2. And it reads, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." So I don't know what made them think, oh, well, you know what? It's just the arrogance and stupidity and being blinded, for the Lord to put that spirit on them to think that you could just cover up the vast amount of relics in history in your own history that you wrote proudly in your books. Okay, so in the unabridged one, it doesn't go into the detail, and I'm speaking of the Noah Webster Dictionary 1828, and the one that I have in the front room that I just took screenshots of, because I have two libraries, one in this room and one in the front room, and the bigger books for the most part are up front. All right, that bookshelf is a lot larger. All right, so, but it doesn't go into the details. But in the Webster 1828 dictionary, it actually mentions, which gives validity to the Ben Franklin 1751 letter that he wrote when he spoke about the Europeans, or the people in Western Asia, because Europe is something that they made up to try to fit into their pseudoscience false category of this newly created whiteness thing that they did. All right, but it tells you how. I'll just go to the receipt. All right. Paragraph 24 of that letter that Ben Franklin wrote. In fact, I'll just go to the definition first. Then I'll read the letter. All right, but yeah. So I'm in evidence folder. Here we go. So this is from the Internet Archive. I'm gonna bring it into yeah, this gives a real big breakdown. All right, it says tawny in color. All right. Yellowish red. All right, I'm trying to get down to where it mentions number 2. That's where we want to be. Cloth of tawny. It says, hold on. Juctum froscum negro. You see that? Because it's, it's in French and in Latin, but it says, if you keep reading in there and look, just pay attention to paragraph 2 of the definition. Some blacks for women, garments with some orange colors, satin, tawny 12 yardies. All right, hold on, it's gonna mention it. Just trying to get to it. And 3, brown skinned person. There it is. A tawny more. All right. At the bottom there. There it is. That's what I was looking for. All right. There are tawnies among them. They wear the entire ring of gold and silver. This is what they came over here looking for. All right. A runaway, tall, slender Indian tawny. In America, where we have so fair an opportunity by excluding the blacks and tawnies, that's making mentioning of Ben Franklin's letter from 1751. All right. You see that? It says tawnies and excluding all blacks and tawnies. All right. And then it talks about the lovely white and red. Well, there's no white. You're red. All right. That's what it's saying. They're really red. So Native Americans were never classified. That was something that Esau did. He started calling them red. I just wanted to show that evidence. Now, that's just a portion of it. Here's from my book. Here's the book. Took a picture of the screenshot. All right. And that's from mine is from 1863, this one. The 28 one is actually at the main house. I'm trying to make it bigger so you can see the, there it is. Or 53, Salakia, 1853. All right. American English Dictionary. This was the Noah Webster. All right. Now here, American. Screenshot this. Pertaining to America, a native of America originally applied to aboriginals of copper-colored races. Races, that being the Negroes as well. All right. But now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America, especially the inhabitants of the United States. So, you know, Americanism, just like Christianism. You saw that at the bottom when they said Americanism. I'm going to have to screenshot that definition too and go into it. All right. These people came over here, raped, robbed, and murdered. Okay. Now, there were 2 acts that were committed. Let's go to the receipts. Stay in the receipts. In 1682 and 1681. In 1681, Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, they started calling themselves, here we go. They started calling themselves white by law. So they created this new category. Virginia passed 2 acts in 1682 that combined Native Americans and Africans into one category as Negroes. All right. The Negro slave, the slave trade, the Negro Indian, and the slave trade Negro, which are the same people. Same people that came from West Africa were related to the people that were already here. They were the same people. That's why they got classified the same. All right. Point blank, period. Here's some royalty in Brazil upon the arrival of Cristobal Colon. See all that gold they had? They don't look like slaves to me. They saw all that gold, and this is why they came. All right, this is the same gold that was brought back to King Solomon and was put in the temple that was sacked by the Edomites. Okay, the Edomites came over here to the Americas to get vengeance on Israel. All right. And wow, this is a whole breakdown of swarthy and tawny right here. Okay. So it shows you pale flesh, fair, and then look, tawny and swarthy. Look at that. That's your Israelites, the Negroid races. Okay. The Negroid races. As a matter of fact, even in the imagery, here's a set of bronze hands here. What the hell? Trying to bring it into why this is. Well, you can see them. These bronze copper hands, bronze and copper are very similar in appearance. You know, descriptions of the Lord as having copper. Some versions of the Bible says copper, some says bronze, skin like the burnished bronze, right? And I've showed you before here. Just more receipts. This is more information just being shared right here, especially for people that are new. There it is again, that act, Salakia. All right, the act that was passed in Virginia in 1682. See, they were doing things in law. All right, Virginia passed 2 acts in 1682 that combined Native Americans and Africans into the category as Negroes and other slaves. You see? And remember the year before, and then they used these natives, these tawny, swarthy colored natives, and those were put on the signs for new slaves at the slave markets. Those weren't even Africans. Those people, the imagery that they used on this sign, on this iconic slave sign, you can see these are in the museum. Those were natives to America, the very same copper tawny people, swarthy people that they were talking about when they arrived here. Okay? They were one and the same. The lighter complected natives with the different hair, that's from rape, robbery, and colonization. Also, some of them came over there like that too because they were in captivity under the Assyrian captivity. So a lot of the appearances were different. Okay? Matter of fact, here's a bronze cross that some Edomite is holding. You know, the average Negro, the average native can put their hand next to this cross. You can see the brown rug behind it is almost the same color. You can see that now Esau, the Cesare Borgia looks like the hand, but the description of the Lord is like the cross. The description of the Israelites is like the cross. See, we have a problem. All right? And it's the cognitive denialism. That's a matter of fact, that will be the name of this lesson. It's the cognitive denialism of copper and bronze where the problem falls with Esau, Edom. Here's your sardine, all right, and jasper stones. The so-called white people don't look like that, all right. Yet that's the image that they put in the churches, and then they tell you color doesn't matter, as you're looking at this pale hand with a description of a bronze man, all right. That burned it, which means he will be even darker. All right, when it says that he burned in a furnace. Okay, hold on. Let me go up some more. Here's some more receipts. Yeah. Here's the museum. That image that sits in that museum. I forget this chief's name, but this is the same Native American that they use on the slave. That they use on the slave pamphlets when they were advertising the selling of new slaves. So hold on, let's switch over to the next one. And these are the ancient images of them. All right. And they were wearing all that gold. These Edomites saw all that gold in these crowns. Okay. And even though they have feathers in the crowns, you had a lot of gold in those crowns. All right. So it says the engraving of John Harris, Navitium Attic, 1705, captured a historic encounter between Herman Cortez and Montezuma II of November 8, 1519, a pivotal moment in the Spanish conquest of Mexico. To the right of the 16th century statue of Nahu housed Acapulco Historic Museum. So that's where it is. This is in the Acapulco Museum. Those images and the things that they raped Montezuma. He was a king. They raped his daughter right in front of him. I believe his wife too. All right. That's what these Edomites did. All right. These Christians. All right. Bring it. And there it is. The hair of wool and the skin of bronze. All right. Olympic bronze medalist. Okay. You can't get around this truth, man. All right. So, and then that, matter of fact, let me read a little bit of that and shut this down. I didn't want this to be too long, but I'm going to read paragraph 24 of Ben Franklin's letter. All right. Because we've gotten a breakdown of tawny, swarthy, bronze, copper, all right, and how they just ignore facts, that cognitive denialism. Okay, so I'm on paragraph 24. Hold on, I'll find it. Yeah, because, the 12 tribes of Israel have been identified basically in America as aborigines, both the so-called Negroes and natives. Oh, I'm just trying to find it. I'm going to just go through it this way because there's so much stuff in here now. There it is. Paragraph 24. In Ben Franklin's letter, all right, from 1751. All right, and it reads, which leads me to add one remark. that the number of, and this was the one that was being referenced in the Webster's Dictionary, all right, in 1828. So the letter was written, you know, all those years before. It says, which leads me to add the remark. I'll just bring it up to the camera. All right. That the number of purely white people in the world are proportionally very small. All of Africa is black or tawny, people of color. Asia, chiefly tawny, people of color. You know, bronze-colored people. America, exclusive, the newcomers, so-called white people. All right. Wholly so. And in Europe, Spanish, we call swarthy complexion. Those are chocolate people. Those are people like her and darker. All right? Because she's like a medium brown. Okay? It says, and this is talking about people in the portion of Europe, Asia that they call Europe. All right? Remember, Asia, Europe sits in Asia. That's why they say Eurasia. All right? It says, as are the Germans also, I can't even make that word out. So bronze, or so what? Can't make that word out. Slovakia. It says, well, anyway, we'll just keep going. It says, right there. And in Europe, the Spanish, the Italians, the French, the Russians, the Swedes are generally what we call a swarthy complexion. So in his letter, he just told you that the people of Europe, and those are major countries, all right? Spanish, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are swarthy. They were swarthy, all right? So when we tell you, you can screenshot that and read through the whole thing. That's in his letter from 1751, something to better mankind, something advancement of mankind. But he let you know that those places, when we tell you that how they would use the term of endowment, oh y'all was kangs and shit. Well, they really were. This is just evidence that the educated white people today, all right, are hateful racists, that they are against the truth, and they hate truth, and they want to push forward and propagate white superiority. All right, as simple as that. I was trying to find a quick video of a Edomite woman that was complaining about the truth. I was trying to find it real quick. Is this it? No, that's not it. Damn it, it's pissing me off. So worried about her 13-year-old getting his feelings hurt. You know, it's just, maybe it's just not meant to come out on this particular lesson. I thought I had lined it up to in this list of videos that I had, but it's not popping up. I know I've got it. It's just not ready on hand like I thought it would be. So let's just get a scripture. I'm not going to hunt for it because I was about to close it out. This is 2nd Ezra, 6:27. And it reads, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. Truth is being declared, and white lies is being destroyed. Call halal Yahweh Bashan Awashai Bahasham Rakah Hakwadash Kwam Yasharala Abba Babal.